Hello, everybody. So good to see you. Welcome to a Good Vibes Arcade discussion. We haven't had one of these in quite a while, and we have some new faces on here that we haven't had before. We're here talking about the Switch 2 being formally, somewhat informally announced by the president Furukawa himself. We have a time frame of when this system is going to be coming out in the next fiscal year, or at least being announced. And that leaves the second half of 2024 as a big blank for the original Switch. We're here to discuss exactly what we think is going to be happening within that time frame. And I'm joined by, I'll go down the list right here, Austin. Welcome, Austin. How you doing?
Hello, I'm sleepy, but we're waking up and I'm ready to talk about the Switch too.
We've also got right below me, we have Amanda. Welcome. How's it going?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing all right. I too am waking up. It was like 9 a.m. Pacific when we originally planned the whole stream happening, but we're trying to wake up with the hype of the news right now as well. And to help with that, we also have Yoshiller down in the corner. Welcome, Yoshiller. How's it going?
I'm great. I'm hyped up. I had some mini pancakes, microwavable for breakfast. I got my Splatoon 3 Team Courage shirt on, and I've still got my pajama bottoms on, and those are good old
Well, let's see.
Mario pajamas.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
Mario 3?
I'm as ready as a studio apartment struggling to survive guy can be. But I'm here. I'm ready to talk about the Switch 2.
I love that we can see the entirety of your living quarters just behind you.
Yeah, you like that I have my bed in front of my oven?
Yeah,
you like that?
good.
That's how it has
That's
to be.
not like a hazard at all.
Is
but-
that? Yeah, I was about to say that's not like a hazard, is it? Oh my goodness.
But you know, prior to that, it was just an air mattress with a bunch of boxes. So now at least it looks a little more lived in. I hung up some stuff, so it's coming together.
Nice.
Oh man, yeah. So we've got a crew here today. So everyone in chat, let me know if everyone sounds okay, if we sound good, if clear. I haven't had a crew like this here in a while, so let me know how we're sounding, because we're about to go in some discussion right now. Let's see here. So the Switch 2, that is in fact a thing now. Like we've been speculating about this for so long. There's been no official word from Nintendo whatsoever, and President Furukawa just comes out and says, hello, Switch 2 coming, bye, and then just doesn't elaborate any further. So what I want to ask everyone here is, do you think that this was the best move Nintendo could have made as far as announcing the Switch 2 is coming? Was this like the best way to announce, you know, setting expectations going forward for the Switch 2? And it's just the fact that we know that it's a thing now. Amanda, how about we start with you and your thoughts of this announcement?
So it really got people talking. I like how I kind of like the strategy Nintendo has been going with recently, where it's like, "Hello, this is Miyamoto. Hello, this is Nintendo," and then all of a sudden it just has everybody talking. They don't even have to record anything. I mean, that's pretty smart on their end. I of course, want to see more of it, but hearing the official announcement or seeing the official announcement, just, "Hello, this is Furukawa. I'm from Nintendo. We're gonna have a Switch 2 soon."
Like a codec call. Just you hear the
Yeah.
sound and it's just like, this is the president. We have
Yeah,
news for you.
exactly.
And
That's
then-
what I like about it. Is it's like it's super secretive sounding, but it's exciting at the same time.
Yeah, we never really hear the president come out himself to announce anything. Usually we had the late Satoru Iwata was like the front face of announcing everything in directs and just any kind of news. And we've kind of had a quite a shift now with Reggie stepping down, with Iwata not being here with us anymore. So it's really kind of a big deal when you hear the
Mhm.
president themselves just coming out and just announcing this for everybody, just out of nowhere, and then just kind of hides back into the Nintendo offices with his ninjas.
I mean,
Um,
it's kind of become a meme now. How like people, anytime they post something of saying "Hello, this is," and people are just like making their own versions of it.
I hope they try and one up each other. Like Miyamoto's like, how dare you? This is my thing. And then we're gonna see another news in the next week or so.
"Hello, this is Miyamoto. New Zelda. Bye."
Zelda movie. All right, see ya. And that was all that he did for that announcement as well. But Austin, what do you think about the current state of the hype, everything we are, every place that we're at right now with the Switch 2 news? Like, do you think this was a really good way for them to announce it, or what's
Yeah,
on your
I
mind for
mean,
this?
it shuts down like all the rumors going around, right? They're like, "Hey, by the way, we got this coming out." So I feel like we don't gotta be waiting and seeing like, "Oh, they're rumored to announce it here and this and that." And it also kind of gives us, I don't know, we'll probably talk about this later, but it gives us a slight idea that we're not going to see it in the next direct and everything like that. So I think it wasn't a bad idea to just kind of give a heads up and announce it this way. And yeah,
Yeah.
it gets people talking too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because this pretty much happened right at the end, well, beginning rather, of their next fiscal year, and so it's more like it wasn't even on like the main Nintendo of America or Nintendo like channels. It was pretty much just a way to tell investors like, hey, by the way, don't worry, we have in fact plans for the next fiscal year coming. So that was pretty much like something dedicated for like those investors as well, but also just we're just here riding that wave with them, with like, oh my goodness, they finally announced something, the successor to the Switch, whatever you want to call it. We're just in the wings now. But what do you think, Yoshiller? What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Yeah, I think it works this time just because the whole reason they did this is to have the information out there before they had their investors meeting that happened just a couple hours later. Because if they do just a tweet for every single big announcement like this, a lot of information is going to be missed. Like, imagine that they announced the Metroid Prime 4 delay through a tweet,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like, that's kind of the reason why we initially even got Nintendo Direct, was we were supposed to have presentations that just brought everyone on the same page. And now that's evolved into these fun presentations where they do like these big reveals and we all look forward to watching them, right? Like, it's changed over the years. But the whole point of the Nintendo Direct setup is to have investors and fans and consumers alike all have the same readily available information. So to just do that through a tweet, it works this time and it's funny, but it's not, I don't see it being like the standard. It was just, we don't have a video ready. We all know the question's going to come up during the investors meeting. Let's just get the information out there and put everyone on the same page. So it's coming. We're working on a successor. We don't have anything to show. We don't have anything to show just yet. So it works this time, and I'm glad it's become something of a meme. I even like the other spin of it where it's like, who posts a tweet at 3 in the morning? And it's like, oh boy, 3 a.m. Right? Like the little SpongeBob meme. So, like, that's fun. But it's not gonna work every single time. Like, they will have to do designated press releases, if not videos, going forward to just ensure that everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, like their methods of announcing these things have been so like scattered throughout the years. Like I remember in chat right now is reminding me, Cutie Caitlin saying the Metroid Prime 4 delay was like just a random YouTube upload video.
Right.
Like I haven't seen them just do a whole upload of a video just for like one specific title like that, just announcing a delay anymore. Like you just see them posting tweets now for that sort of thing. So it's really kind of just showing how the perspective has shifted as time has gone along of how they announce the news now. And I'm kind of, I guess I'm not too surprised. We're still on Twitter, whatever you want to call it for Nintendo, like, because that's just what we have right now. That's just the main source of social media that a lot of people
Yeah.
still have and are still using, for better or worse. But
Like we're all established there. It's
Yeah.
hard to move on.
that's the sad thing, right? Like,
I
like we
know.
Yeah, there's so many people there.
Like what
so
does
it's
it
like,
what does that say about us? Like, but we're established on Twitter.
I mean, look at it this way. Well, more than 10 years ago, 15 years ago, companies were like opposed to using Twitter, especially Japanese companies like Nintendo. They were like, what's the point? What do we need a Twitter account for? What we have going for us is fine. But now that social
Yeah.
media has played such an integral role in the day-to-day lives of people around the world, it therefore becomes the most convenient way to get news to people. So it just like how we were talking about how everything else has shifted, there was a time when they could have just said nothing. We would just have to know.
That's true.
Right? Like, the only announcements you get are during E3, and maybe you get, like, a news story later on, and that's
you might
it.
get
You're
something
just
in
left in the
Nintendo
dark.
Power.
You're right. Yeah, and Nintendo Power. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which would be sometimes months behind an actual announcement, but whatever, right? So, we should be grateful that we're even getting communication from Nintendo at all. They didn't have to say anything, but I figured they did so as to tame the flames for the investors meeting.
Man, yeah, Nintendo Power, my beloved, my most trusted source of news from so long ago. And that was like an era where it didn't matter like how soon you got the news. Everything is instant now. Within the minute,
Yeah.
everybody just knows. But back then it'd be like months for the publications.
I would always look forward to the E3 edition. Like as soon as that one came in, I'm like, it's the edition, Mom, I want to go here one day. And I did.
Yeah.
And your dream came true!
And it came true.
My very first issue of Nintendo Power, I think it had Pokemon Snap on the cover, and that specifically had an E3 presentation in there. It was like, what is E3? What is all the Mario story? What is Mario story? Like before they even like announced translation or localized names like from that to Paper Mario. That was such an
I got
exciting
one of
time.
my letters published in Nintendo Power one time.
Really?
Like where you
Oh,
write
in
to the
the-
editor and
in
whatever,
Player's
like, the
Pulse?
prompts. Yeah, I got one of mine posted.
Oh, I always wanted.
I was so proud. It was the Luigi's Mansion edition.
Okay, we'll track
Oh
that
my
down.
gosh.
Yeah.
that's cool.
I definitely have that issue. I have to look that up sometime. What-
But on
wait.
that note, to kind of tie it all back in, it was a big deal when Nintendo Power would showcase new consoles. Like that probably was the
Mhm.
first time I heard of the Wii, because at the time it was called the Revolution, right? And so when
Right.
that was showcased in things like Nintendo Powers, they would have like these big 6-page like interview excerpts that would kind of go over what it was. That would eventually evolve into what I guess would become like the Iwata Ask segments that we would get on Nintendo news websites.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
otherwise, a lot of the fun of getting a Nintendo Power magazine was actually seeing like the screenshots of what things looked like. You actually had a visual way to see most things. It wasn't just text. So we can get text from a tweet. We can get a photo from a tweet, but I think Nintendo Directs have taken over because that's just the best way to communicate information. And I think that's kind of what killed Nintendo Power was Nintendo Directs, now that I think about it a little more. Okay, I'm kind of rambling here. The point I'm trying to make is Nintendo Power was fun, but it wasn't going to last. Tweets are not going to be the main method of communication.
Yeah.
Like, we'll still get them, but they're not going to last as the main method of news. Like, Nintendo Directs will still be the pioneer of everything else.
Yeah, that's been pretty much the main source of all the major Nintendo news for over a decade now, which is crazy to think how long Nintendo Directs have been around. And the way that we have, social media now is just evolving and changing, and at some points just kind of ditching it because like PlayStation not too long ago stopped the integration of social media posts to Twitter not that long ago. And now I think just the other day, Nintendo is going to be ceasing that as well. We're not going to be able to post directly from our
that's
Switch
right, I
media
saw
Yeah, I
that.
saw that.
to social media. So
But you can still send it to your phone, from what I understand, and just send it like to
Yeah, that's
to
what
your
Right.
Yeah.
phone and then post it
Um,
that way rather than directly.
that's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
much
unfortunate, but it's not like Nintendo needs to make a financial decision, and it is not worth
Yeah.
their investment to pay the expensive costs to.
It's not like
keep
losing
Twitter
the
integration.
eShop or anything.
Right.
yeah.
So this is actually more, as I understand it, more of a Twitter issue than a Nintendo issue, because something the price to keep the price to keep Twitter integrated onto your console is just getting more and more expensive, and that's why Microsoft and Sony dropped it already. So Nintendo's dropping it too. It's unfortunate for Nintendo though because it was integrated into games like Splatoon. So
Yeah.
you're kind of now axing a pretty not like a main feature of Splatoon, but just a noteworthy one. Like that was the spiritual successor to Miiverse. So to take that away now, like what fans just get nothing now. Like there's no point to drawing artwork. So it's. But I also acknowledge like if you're running a company and you're like, okay, what's the cost to reward ratio to keep Twitter integrated? It's just not worth it anymore. So you may as well just drop it.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm doing a video coming up very soon, and I had to go into Splatoon 2 to get some footage, and I was reading the comments in that plaza, like they're saying, "Oh man, goodbye everyone, we're not gonna have social media posts anymore," and it was kind of sad to see everyone like all those posts were just talking about it, because there are people like now that Splatoon 1 is no longer playable on the Wii U, like a lot of those people kind of just shifted to Splatoon 2 because that's like the one that is the next one in line, unfortunately. Or well, I guess they're both on Switch, so they'll probably both unfortunately be axed at the same time whenever that happens. But yeah, it's there's so many things that we have integrated with social media. Social media is just such a weird thing with these systems. Like Miiverse was a thing that it was for a while and people were just hyped and crazy about it, and then it just kind of died and people want it back. Street Pass, we were mentioning not too long ago. I was talking with David on here not too long ago. We were talking about Street Pass on the 3DS. It's like making a resurgence because people just want it back so bad. So will the Switch 2 integrate something like that again? I wonder, because it's such a popular method of communication with people that just got people talking for so long. So
I loved Street Pass, especially like when I would have my 3DS with me and I would pass by somebody at work that I didn't know had a 3DS. I'm like, there's somebody else here who has one. That's exciting.
the green light is like, oh, I'm amongst my people. Where are they?
Yeah, and then it's like, and then I'm looking around. I'm like, who did I pass? Who did I pass? Do I know this person?
This is why FOMO exists. Like FOMO exists because of stuff like this, because stuff eventually disappears. So you just gotta live in the moment and enjoy it while you have it. And if you're like me, make sure you document footage, because 10 years from now, when you're talking about whatever feature just got erased, you're going to be the person that has the footage that everyone gets to use. So I strongly encourage people, like when the Wii U and 3DS servers were going down, I was like, record anything that's not Smash Brothers or Mario Kart, because once those servers go down, all that footage is going to be lost. So go play Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Go play Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. Go play everything else, because this is the last time we're going to have access to these things.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, social media is such a disaster right now, which makes me really curious as to like, how are they going to work that with the next console? Like, how is that going to be involved with social media in that way? Because that's how we get a lot of news coming out. I've heard so much news of games through social media, like Breath of the Wild, Fire Emblem Three Houses. Like those were games that had a huge surge of social media postings, and that's how more people were able to be involved with it. We're still learning things about like Tears of the Kingdom at some points when you look up social media every now and then, because even Breath of the Wild, it's been a wild ride. But yeah, that's a lot happening with speculation as things stand right now. But we also have along with that tweet, we were confirmed that a June Direct is coming. It's probably not any surprise to anybody, because that's usually the season, the what used to be E3 season of directs and presentations. But we do know that it's going to be happening in June, and it's not going to have any news on the Switch 2, which means we have at least half a year of the base Switch. And in case anyone wasn't aware of this, it's looking a little dry right now, with only a few titles coming up, and much of them being just remakes of other titles. So I want to I want to ask you all, what do you think is going to be coming in the next half year? Like, what kind of games do you think could be announced for the second half of 2024? I want to ask you first, Austin. What's on your mind?
I don't know. I mean, they could throw in a couple more remakes. I know a lot of people have been wanting Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. I'd be down for that, but I feel like that's one they're gonna wait till the next console for. We also know about Pokemon Legends ZA, but I also feel like with the timing of that, that's gonna be on the next console too, unless they release it in January like they did before. Maybe not, but yeah, I don't know. So far right now, it does seem like they might just do remakes or just like little things. I'm not sure if they're gonna do anything super big. It'd be cool to see a nice send-off game. But I don't even know what that would be.
Yeah. We're in such a spot where it's like it's that weird lull period where we don't know if these next titles being announced can be just specifically for the Switch, or they're going to be for both generations, or are they going to just hold titles off until the next generation. And there's some like Metroid Prime 4 that I'm just never going to know what they have planned for that, because it's like it's been so long. Like there's been several games that have been announced and released within the window of them like re-announcing that it's going to be restarting production, and it's
Yeah.
like at this point, is it pulling a Breath of the Wild where it's going to be on both systems at this point? Like we're not too sure. But what are your thoughts on what we might be expecting coming in the next half year, Amanda?
So, I think Pokemon Legends ZA is going to be like the last big Switch game, is what I'm guessing. I'm guessing it'll do another January release, and that'll
That's
be
what
kind of
that's
like
what I'm
its.
guessing.
Probably.
I'm thinking it'll be like its swan song game, because I'm remembering when Majora's Mask came out on the Nintendo 64. That was like the last like really big one. I feel like that, or I can't remember when Paper Mario came out. One of those. Two.
Yeah.
They were
one
both
or the other,
2001, yeah.
One, I can't remember which one came out first. I want to say Paper Mario came out second. So that was like the last really big game on the N64. And that came out in the spring. I remember that being in the spring for sure. And then we got the GameCube that winter. So I imagine we'll probably get Pokemon Legends ZA. Metroid Prime 4 is probably going to be next console. I'm calling for the record, I'm calling the Switch 2 the switcheroo until anybody tells me otherwise. And so I think the Metroid Prime 4 is going to be switcheroo. Anything else that we might get between now and then? I don't know. The only thing I can think of is Pokemon Legends ZA. That's the only like really big one. We might get like another, I don't know, Fire Emblem port or something. I could see them putting Wind Waker or Twilight Princess onto the Switch, just like a, hey, we're going to shadow drop this, putting it on there, and then having it on the Switch 2 or Switcheroo again. That way people have to buy it twice.
Okay.
They're just holding that the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD in their back pocket, and I'm just like,
they are.
when-
They're like,
when-
we can
They're
do
really
this
waiting for it.
anytime. You know what? Now's the time to do it.
right? Gosh, we also have apparently the recently announced Nintendo World Championships NES
Yeah.
edition.
Yeah.
That's coming too. That's a title for sure. Smaller titles.
I got some
I swear.
predictions.
What do you got for us?
These are all genuine. Like, I understand the mindset of Nintendo trying to play it safe till the Switcheroo comes out. Totally get it. I also see another timeline where the Switch is like decently well stocked for the rest of the year. And here are a couple of predictions that I think are reasonable. You don't have to agree. I'm not talking about my butt here, and I'll explain the reasoning for these in a second. Okay. Yeah, remakes I think is a safe bet. / ports. So I think if we are going to see ports, it's going to primarily be GameCube and Wii games. So I think something in the vein of Punch-Out for the Wii is not unheard of. And the reason I say Punch-Out is because Super Mario Galaxy was like re-released for this other device, and that's why we have the HD version that's in Super Mario 3D All-Stars. I don't remember what it's called, like not NVIDIA Shield, but it's something. Someone knows what I'm talking about. Punch-Out was released for that too. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to have like a like 1080p Punch-Out game on the Switch, and they just like rework the motion controls or something. Also, a while ago, we had rumors of a Donkey Kong game coming to Switch, and I think that that's real. And I think it was Nintendo's intention to align that with the launch of the Donkey Kong Park at Super Nintendo World. But now that the park got delayed, it might line up with a holiday release. And Nintendo like needs a holiday release, and I think that's where the Donkey Kong game is going to go. I think this November, December, there's going to be a Donkey Kong game. And then the last big thing I can see that won't just be a port or a remake, I think we'll either get another Mario Party, whether or not it's Superstars or something completely new, I don't know. But we'll get another Mario Party, or if it's not Mario, it'll literally be like Switch Party, like Wii Party, but on Switch. We'll get something like that. Those are my predictions. Like, smaller titles, the biggest thing we'll probably get is that Donkey Kong game. I believe that that's real, and I think Nintendo is being strategic about it.
they're really leaning into Donkey Kong as of late, especially with the park, the Universal Studios Park expansion going
Yeah,
to
because
that.
Epic Universe opens next year.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think it would be in their best interest. Like I know they had Mario versus Donkey Kong come out earlier this year. I would imagine they'd want the double whammy of having a Donkey Kong game come out as well. Just like when Super Nintendo World initially opened, it was somewhat aligned with the Mario movie that better lined up with the Hollywood date, the Hollywood park opening. And then they also had the Mario Kart DLC, Mario Party, I guess that would be Superstars, whatever else came out in 2022, right?
Mhm.
Or no, Superstars was 2021, right? I'm getting all my years
It's been
backwards
that
now.
long.
But either there's so many Mario games. Point being, I think there is a Donkey Kong game, whether it's 2D or 3D, I don't know. But I think that there is one. That would be the biggest game we'd get from Nintendo. Then we'll get some ports and remakes. I don't know about Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. As much as we want them, there is a part of me that thinks that, like, at this point, it's just not gonna happen. I don't know. I want them to happen.
Hey,
It's
I'm
just been
hopeful,
so
okay?
long. Like, we got Skyward Sword first. So I don't know. Is like,
a
would
good
Nintendo
game.
really just sit on them for this long? I mean,
Yes.
I guess.
They could, yeah, they probably are.
But yeah, so something more like Punch Out. That's just like the first game that comes to mind. There's probably other Wii games or Rhythm Heaven or something like that, where all they got to do, like they did with Pikmin 1 and 2, where they just make it like
Yeah,
upscaled
a
into
bundle.
HD. We'll
Yeah.
probably get stuff like that. So that's where my head is at right now.
Oh, please.
I want to see a Tamagotchi Life. Bring that back.
Oh,
that was
Tamagotchi
so
Life is a
much
good
fun.
pick. Yeah, so
Yeah.
if we don't get Switch Party, it's gonna be Tamagotchi Life. That's actually a good point.
That's a timeline I want.
Yeah, so, but if we do get Switch Party, you heard it here first. I promise I don't have an insider leak. I am just like spitballing right now. Switch Party, it's coming.
I've been wondering, like, what other 3DS games will they either port over or like expand upon? Because we got Miitopia, and it was like we got I've just been waiting for that to pop up in some way or capacity as well. Tamagotchi Life, I missed that title. That was
That was so much fun.
a
It was so
weird
good.
gem in the Nintendo library of titles.
That's how I learned what Loco Moco was.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Because
Nintendogs, good answer. Someone in chat said
Nintendogs.
Nintendo-
They
oh,
have to
Sam did.
integrate the microphone, but yeah.
That's true. Yeah, there's like a lot of stuff that we've been just kind of sitting on and waiting for and just waiting to see what will happen. There's been a rumor of Genealogy of the Holy War Fire Emblem remake for ages now,
Yeah.
which I've been
Yeah,
waiting
that's a
for.
good point.
That's all. That's somewhere. They're waiting for that one. I think now they're confused as to like, what do we do? Do we put this on the Switch? Do we put this on the next console? Do we put them on both? That's got to be somewhere because like Engage came out like done for years or so at some point. They were polishing that to a shine, and then all the DLC came out in like a month or so within its release. So Fire Emblem is just kind of waiting in the wings at this point, I think, because there's like so many titles of Fire Emblem on the Switch right now. So I'm assuming they're gonna wait for the next console to kind of start it out fresh. That's what I'm
And
also.
wasn't there a rumor? I know everyone's saying Kid Icarus Uprising, but I know we all want that. I feel like that's a little more of a complicated situation. But that did remind me. Wasn't there like a rumor, something a little like a year or two ago, where like after Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe came out, shortly afterward Nintendo renewed the trademark for Kirby Triple Deluxe? Like that would be the next game in line if they were going to remaster a Kirby game. Like,
Huh.
do we think we're getting a Kirby game this year? I guess is my question. And do we think it's going to be just like a smaller game like Kirby's Dream Buffet or Fighters 2? Or do we think they're just going to like remaster Triple Deluxe and add co-op to it or something?
Good luck trying to stop Nintendo from releasing a Kirby game. They can't help
Yeah.
themselves.
They love that little guy.
That's true.
I mean, what's not to love
Yeah, I was gonna
about
say, speaking of the
Kirby?
Kirby shirt.
Gotta represent the Kirby. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
you're wearing a Kirby shirt, and the thing that reminds me is someone saying Kid Icarus Uprising in the chat. I'm sorry. It's like, what other franchise haven't we tapped into yet? What other pillows you got on that bed there? Let's see.
Well, let's see. I've got mostly Pokemon. I've got some
Okay.
Sonic.
All right, Sonic. Oh yeah, Sonic X Shadow Generations
Yeah.
coming out. That's not Nintendo, but like that's coming to Switch. So third-party support still going strong. We got the Monkey Ball game coming. They'll probably show that again.
Monkey ball.
Monkey Ball. Where's
Epic
the
Mickey again. Yeah.
Where's the Hyrule dating sim? As I look
Oh,
at
I
the
want that
side
so
eye.
bad. I want a Hyrule dating sim where you play as a Gerudo and you're looking for an eligible bachelor and you're going around and you're finding like and learning how to talk to boys. It'd be great.
Yeah.
So good.
Amanda was ready for the concept right
I
then
was
and
so
there.
ready for that.
It's way better than what I was gonna come up with. That's so much better. Okay.
be like a
You
be like
got
a
this idea
farm
down.
be like a farmer growing up in Hateno, and then it's a farm simulator instead. So you're
That would be
raising,
really cute.
so you can like help produce to help rebuild and feed the people of Hyrule as they try to rebuild the land, something like that. We're never leaving this
And then
version
you
of
fall in
Hyrule.
love with someone over a patch of pumpkins.
Oh,
That's a good idea.
how romantic.
Fall in love over your favorite fish person. Why not?
Ultimate goal is to
See,
date
he is
side on.
right
Yeah,
there.
I agree.
It really is.
I guess speaking of that, yeah, we're also waiting on Pokemon Legends DA as well. I'm very excited for that one, and apparently we can only assume what it can be. It's based on the trailer itself,
Yeah.
but I guess we're like rebuilding what will then become Lumio City. Is that like the general consensus of what we're thinking
Mhm.
that's gonna be like?
Mhm.
We don't even know if it's set in the past or the future, right? Because
It's looking
the-
futuristic, but like
the wording is intentionally
know.
misleading.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's really tricky. I feel like they could do a little timey-wimey stuff where like, oh, some of it's here and now we're in the future and we're like learning how to, or even like a backwards thing where it's like, let's start here and sort of work our way back. I don't know if that doesn't really work with the rebuilding part, but yeah, they really made it look futuristic. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tricky thing because I mean, Legend Arceus was specifically in the
Mhm.
past, so I was thinking like, oh, maybe they'll contrast and do something in the future instead, which like
Right.
it makes sense. But then there's contrasting like visuals and ideas that make it be like, I don't
Yeah.
know, I don't actually know where this is taking place.
Yeah,
'Cause,
the part that makes it hard is because it has the word legends in the title. So that would make you think
Yeah.
that it's like something of old. It's a legend, right?
mhm.
But then maybe a Legends game is just a big open exploration type game and it's all about the gameplay. But that's kind of what Scarlet and Violet has started to become, just a big open world exploration game. So I'm almost certain that the Legends subtitle is there just literally just to make us excited, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I can speculate as to what will be in the game, but I don't think we're gonna see that game in the June Direct. I would love to be wrong, and I've been wrong about this before, so I don't know why I'm predicting this again. I don't think we're gonna see it at all. If we're gonna see Legends ZA, I feel like there will be a designated Pokemon Presents closer to September or something, and that's when we'll see it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
also totally off topic. I'm getting the Pokemon Pallet Town.
Oh, is it
I'm
time?
getting this time. I'm getting Pallet Town. I'm getting the Clefairy lip gloss. No, Jigglypuff lip gloss and Clefairy blush.
I'll say the Pallet Town is a great name. Like that
Yes.
works
That's
out so
awesome.
perfectly.
If anybody
I forgot
else,
that it came out 2 minutes ago.
if anybody else is looking for that, we got you right now. You pick yours up right now. We got
It's on the ColourPop website. It just went on sale.
that's where it is.
Now, I do want to say, and maybe this is something you were going to bring up, Daniel. There's been speculation as to whether or not a game like Pokemon Legends ZA will see simultaneous release between the Switch and the Switch successor, or the Switcheroo, is what I also like to call it. Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
There's been speculation as to whether or not it'll see a simultaneous release in the same vein that like Breath of the Wild did with the Wii U and the Switch, or if the Switcheroo will just have like an upscaling feature for select Switch games, and I'm leaning a little more into the latter. I don't think Legends EA will see a simultaneous release. I think it will just be one of the last Switch games. But if there is an upscaling feature on the Switcheroo, I think it'll be one of the compatible games. But I think only a select few games will actually be compatible, and it's going to be like Tears of the Kingdom, Animal Crossing, maybe Splatoon 3, and like one or two other games.
If it was all in Nintendo's hands, I could see something like that happening. But this is the Pokemon Company, and I'm just like, what are they? How are they gonna like strong arm Nintendo in doing the releases for this specifically? That's what I'm really interested to see, because we never really had a situation where we would even consider a cross-gen game like this before with the Pokemon Company. That's a major title as well.
Mm-mm.
So I don't know, Austin, what do you think about that? Do you think that they'll that Nintendo or the Pokemon Company would allow something like that to happen, or would they just keep it very like straightforward? This is for both consoles, or this is going to be on one or the other.
I really don't think it'll be both. I mean, to my knowledge, we haven't really seen that yet. I mean, other than like the eShop stuff, but that doesn't really count. Yeah, I don't think it'll be on both. I feel like it'll probably just be at the end of the Switch's life. It'll be like, here's the last thing. Yeah, I feel like Pokemon likes to have their own kind of, I don't know. They work together obviously, but I think they like to do their own thing a lot of times, and they just get to see what they're able to do. Yeah, I don't see both consoles being the answer. I'd kind of like to see it maybe, but I don't know. Not sure.
They definitely march to the beat of their own drum in a way that no
Mhm.
other company does, working alongside so closely with Nintendo. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I could see one way or the other, but knowing Pokemon
So
Company,
if you look
yeah.
at past Pokemon games, like on the handhelds, like whether it's the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, DS, 3DS, when it would happen at the end of a run, because I remember Black and White coming out on the DS,
Yeah.
despite the 3DS being like right there, and
Mhm.
Gold and Silver coming out on Game Boy Color, despite Game Boy Advance happening. But those were all reverse compatible. So my guess is
Yeah.
Switcheroo is going to be reverse compatible.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Switch game, but you can still play it on the Switcheroo.
Well, yeah. I guess the bigger question is like, do we think there will be a designated switcheroo version, right? Because like
No.
the only
I don't
time
think so.
the only time Pokemon has done that was with Mystery Dungeon, Red and Blue. So yeah, like
Hmm.
Black 2 and White 2 came out at the tail end of the DS, but there were 3DS apps that were compatible with it, and that's how you got certain Pokemon or certain forms of Pokemon. So I can see them doing something like that. I don't think we're going to get a designated Switch version and a designated Switcheroo version though. Like that's kind of where I'm at, because some people think they're going to do a simultaneous release like that. I think it's just up.
I think they're just going to make a
It's
Switch
just a Switch
version
game.
also.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
just going to come out. Even if the Switcheroo is out, it's just going to be a Switch game, and it'll be playable on the Switcheroo.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
You
then
think-
Nintendo Fangirl said in the chat, like the new 3DS. Yeah. The new 3DS had new 3DS exclusive games like Xenoblade and like Minecraft or something. But there were one or two games that it enhanced. So like it enhanced Hyrule Warriors, if I recall correctly.
Mhm.
It added extra button configurations for like Smash 3DS. I think we'll get that. Exactly that. Like it'll be enhanced on the Switcheroo. It will not have a designated Switcheroo version.
Mhm.
That's where my head's at.
Yeah, I think it's just pretty much what I'm thinking as well. Because it's hard to say, I guess, because this is such a different situation than Nintendo's found themselves before. Like we've never had a generation where it's just the one console going to just another one console. Like before, we were, as you were mentioning, always had something kind of tapering off one generation to the next, whether it's handheld or whether it's the main console. And yeah, Nintendo has notoriously left the last console hanging with a Pokemon game that's exclusive just to that one. God, I think the earliest example of this would in fact be, because I did a video on this way long ago, the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. The sequel was going to come out here and be localized, but the Game Boy Advance was about to be released here, and so they actually completely forgo the decision to translate and localize that here. So we never got the second trading card game because of that. That would have been cool. The game is actually really good, but that's one of their Pokemon Company decisions. And sure, it's been like decades since then, so we don't know what their strategy will be going into this generation. But that's certainly something that to keep in mind.
It's like the
Um,
GS ball. They just want you to forget about it and move on.
Yeah. Don't bring it up.
What did it do? What's
worry
in
about
it?
it. Don't worry
Nice
about
to-
it.
Don't worry about it. It's
It's on
over
the
now.
shelf.
Yeah, it's over.
Don't worry
It's
about
over.
trading card game 2. It's over now. We're past that.
Forget about
Oh
it.
man. But was there any other titles that we wanted to bring up when we're talking about just like specifically the Switch as far as the next half of year, this next fiscal year is concerned? Because there's not a whole lot, as you were mentioning. A lot of remakes are probably up in the cards, and like if they do any more GameCube remasters, remakes, ports, I'm fine with that, because well, maybe I don't know if I am or am not, because that kind of lessens the idea of having the NSO for the next console having GameCube on there as well, because that's like the only console in like Nintendo's entire history that they haven't like emulated, especially in like Wii U, even did like DS games. So still waiting on
I'm
that
kind
one.
of okay with GameCube not getting like a designated app on NSO, because I'm the type of idiotic consumer that just wants to give Nintendo the money to tell them to keep making games like this. So, for example, if they ported over F-Zero GX, I just want to buy a bunch of copies of that and be like, revive F-Zero! Come on, I can't buy F-Zero 99, so I'm gonna buy this one, right? But I do acknowledge the convenience of just having your GameCube games like just in an app on the go and being able to play something like Melee online or Double Dash online or something like that. But if they are going to port games, it's good for research purposes to see like what consumers actually like and want revived and what would do better on a more successful console. So for that reason, I like them remaking and remastering games. But I think the dream of a GameCube NSO is not going to be on Switch, but maybe on the Switcheroo.
Right.
Aren't we getting
Yeah.
a Luigi's Mansion 2 remake or?
We are,
Yeah.
but that comes
Okay,
out
that's
in
what I thought. So I could
June.
see them
Yeah.
doing like porting over original Luigi's Mansion. I'd love a remake of that one because that was so good.
Oh, I know, right?
Well, it
That-
got a remake on 3DS,
that's
right? Yeah.
Doesn't count.
they did
What
the
about-
3DS one. Yeah.
What about Galaxy 2? Because they brought the first one over. Do you think they'll
Oh,
ever bring the second one?
yeah.
Right.
I think they'll release all the games in 3D All-Stars individually for like $20 a pop. And then Galaxy 2 will come out.
I'm kind of
then.
surprised they haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I think that's actually tying into why 3D All-Stars was delisted, because they're going to release the games
Yeah.
individually. You just miss out on like the music player and the art book that 3D All-Stars gets.
The bundle. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's already another way to play Mario 64, and then there's just Sunshine just kind of there.
You're just sitting there.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, that's another thing to think about, because like I'm still wondering what can possibly be for the future of these ports, because there's a lot of ports that we could get, and we're getting a lot of remasters. Like within just the last year, ports and remasters of GameCube games like Metroid Prime, Pikmin 1 and 2, Tales of Symphonia, which always causes me physical pain, and then now Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, and we have all these
Yeah.
that I'm waiting for. So I'm just like, the possibility of having like a GameCube and NSO kind of lessens as time goes on. But if they're releasing like enhanced remakes, then fine by me. Please do that
Yeah,
to
for
Path
sure.
of Radiance. I'm
All
waiting
right,
for
I
that.
got a wild prediction then. This one is almost out of nowhere. Then you guys want ports? Okay, here's
Uh-oh.
my prediction. Okay,
Is it gonna
I'm
be
ready.
Mr. Driller?
no, that's not a bad idea though. No, what I was gonna say. So if Super Mario RPG and Thousand Year Door do well, Nintendo might see renewed interest in the Mario and Luigi series. And if
Okay.
they were gonna port one, I think they're gonna port Dream Team. Not Paper Jam, not Bowser's Inside Story, not Superstar Saga, just Dream Team. And use
Dream
that to
Team.
see if the series has longevity. I don't actually think they're gonna do it, but if they're gonna port another 3DS game, I'm like just planting the seed that Dream Team, and specifically Dream Team, has a possibility.
That'd be so
Throwing that out there.
it'd be so weird. Yeah, they skipped right over. They jumped right over Partners in Time.
You
Unfortunately.
can't put that on Switch. You'd have to like rework that game so much. Just not even because of like touch controls, which is the stupidest part. Just because the battles use so much verticality, you have to like play Switch exclusively in handheld mode and turn it like
Yeah.
this.
There were like
So-
enemies that specifically elongated all the way to the top screen that you'd have to pay attention, or attacks that fire upward, and you have to look at the top screen and engage who's gonna get hit on the bottom. It used that very
Right.
well.
Oh, I forgot
It was
about all
it was
that.
a very cool game. Just that's the one that needed the remake on a 3DS, and that's the one they skipped. And now you can't
Yeah.
do that one on a home console. But Dream Team, so much of the game takes place on the top screen anyway, that I could see them porting it. And if they wanted to do like the giant Luigi battles, I could see them reworking that into motion controls or something instead, and it just takes up one screen or something.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's why I chose Dream Team. I don't know.
it's true. It's like, oh man. I love Mario and Luigi as much as I love Paper Mario. Like I've been such a fan ever since Superstar Saga, Bowser's Inside Story. Whether that comes back or not, I have no idea, because unfortunately Alpha Dream is not a thing anymore. But I'm very much curious to see just how well Mario RPG and Thousand Year Door do and have been doing or will do in the future, to see if that warrants them to have the idea of, oh wait, people like these games, maybe we should make an original one at this point now,
Right.
because right now we're just kind of sitting and waiting in the wings. But yeah.
One quick thing, I just looked it up. What about a new Yoshi game?
Oh.
Because the last one was Crafted World, right?
The only reason I don't think we're gonna get another Yoshi game is because Goodfield just released Princess Peach Showtime,
Okay.
and they were the same developers.
Okay.
That's the
I don't know a
only,
whole lot
unless
about the
someone else
Yoshi
makes it and they
franchise,
could.
so
That's the only reason I
Mhm.
don't think it's gonna happen. I would love it,
yeah.
but if it was not the literal like same year as the game that just released 2 months
That's
ago,
fair.
so that's kind of why I'm tying it more into like Mario Party because it's been a couple of years since we
Mhm.
got that. So
Well,
I don't know.
we could always get Woolly World on the switcheroo.
Oh, I
Yeah,
would
they
love
could
that.
ports. Yeah.
I would love that.
That's
Remaster
a
something.
that's a lovely game, and I love to see that in just that high quality. But someone in chat saying Chibi Robo Ziplash 2, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I actually
TV Robo's making a comeback.
I actually dabble with that for a thing I need to do soon. I played a little bit of Chibi Robo Ziplash very recently, and I'm just like, you know what? This is like okay. I don't know where all the hate is coming from. There's some weird product placement and advertisement in that game, but otherwise, it's fairly. It's like the what's it called? Pikmin, Hey Pikmin of the series, of where it's like it's not what we wanted. It's an okay game, but I think it's a little bit overhated for what it is.
Yeah, I got it for my husband one year for Christmas, and he had fun with it. It wasn't like his
Yeah.
favorite, but he's like, yeah, it's fun.
It's
I think it was just because Nintendo was like, this game has to sell well if you want Chibi Robo to keep having games, and it's like, but that's not what Chibi Robo is. How is this fair? I think that's all it really stemmed from. I don't know how the game itself is.
the original Chibi Robo is very weird and very strange in a fun way, and I hope we get something more like that in the future. But if there's nothing else for the Switch like in the coming year, I was wondering, because like while we're all here, I was wondering if you have any predictions about like the Switch 2 hardware, like rumors that you've latched onto, like what is the gimmick that's going to be for this generation? Because Nintendo loves their like quirky gimmicks, and we've already heard some rumors and news about what might be with this console. Like for example, the rumored magnetism on the Joy-Con, which is a thing that's been kind of floating around more prominently now that we have this actual confirmation that we're going to be hearing about it within the next fiscal year. Is there like any specific rumors or thoughts you have about the hardware that we should be like paying attention to, that we think is going to happen with this console, or that we want to happen for the next Switch? What do you think, Amanda?
Ooh. Like, I've heard the thing about the magnetic. I feel like I would just get bobby pins stuck to it if that happened. So I kind of hope that's not a thing. Ooh. I guess, I mean, I want backwards compatibility for it because we didn't have that with the Switch and the Wii U. I mean, Wii U had backwards compatibility, but we didn't have that on the Switch. I really can't think of anything that I've really heard aside from the magnetics. I'm trying to think of something creative that might be fun. And
Yeah, because we already talked about the potential of bringing back Street Pass. Like that's like a basic thing that
I
I'm
could see
hoping.
something along those lines, maybe bringing back some form of like some kind of Nintendo social media in a way, but not like Miiverse, like something like the Street Pass, where it's just really simple, where it's like, hey, I see you.
Yeah, because the console is meant for portability, like you bring it with you
Mhm.
everywhere. So that it's odd that they kind of like gutted the system, the console
Yeah.
of something so popular for that sort of thing.
Yeah, or even something, kind of like with Pokemon Go with like Pokestops and everything, like maybe bring your Switch and there are certain locations that you can like tag onto and get little like medals for, or certificates or some kind of in-game sticker.
Oh man, Nintendo Go. You could do
Yeah.
something integrating that way. Come get on it, Niantic.
I mean, then you're bringing it on the go like they all want you to with the Switch.
That'd be crazy if that caused another resurgence of people just going out and getting tags and stuff for whatever kind of integration they want to do with that. That'd be wild.
We'd be one step closer to world peace again.
I mean, the
just like when
closest I think
Pokemon
we've
Go
ever
came
come to
out.
world peace was when Pokemon Go came out.
Yeah.
So, I think that would be a great way to solve it.
Everybody was getting out, getting exercise, getting along, just hanging out,
Working
talking about
together, yeah.
Pokemon. That was a magical time. I want that
Yep.
back again.
That's so great.
Uh,
I have a prediction.
oh yeah. What
Work
do you
with me here.
what are you
Oh
thinking?
boy, here we
You
go.
know when the Switch came out, they like dropped a commercial, like a 3-minute, 4-minute trailer of like the people playing the Switch on an airplane and on the rooftop, and then the guy goes home and he puts it in the dock and he keeps playing Breath of the Wild or whatever.
Hmm.
I think we're gonna get that. So here's my pitch. Okay? So someone's playing Switch in line somewhere, someone else is playing another gaming device, but it's not completely visible, and he bumps in to the guy with the Switch, and they both drop their game consoles. And the Switch hits the ground, and the Switch is still completely fine, but the other console that drops to the ground, it has a clamshell design. And he goes, "Oh, don't worry about it." And he just opens his little clam back up, and it's the
Yeah.
Switcheroo with 2 screens. And I think the Switcheroo will have 2 screens because that's the only way that you're going to be able to have something like DS and 3DS games be able to run on it. Like the DS was playable on the Wii U because the game had touch controls, but that's why we don't have DS games on the Switch. So I think by having a second screen on the Switcheroo, you have now just resolved your gaming library's longevity. Like you have saved gaming.
Land on the Switcheroo. Yeah.
Yeah, like you've saved gaming. Now, whether or not it'll literally, it's not a Wii U for the chat yelling at me. I'm not saying it's a Wii U. Okay, it's
chat
not a
is really
gamepad.
angry.
It's just a second screen that folds over. But when you put it in the dock, like it still just displays as a traditional like 1080p Switch screen. Like I'm not saying it's a separate screen that like you carry around with you and you place the Switch here and then you hold your second screen here. No, it's literally we're just back to the clamshell design that was the DS. That's all I'm saying. That's
Now
what
let me
I
take
think
that
the
idea.
Switcheroo will be.
And change it up a little bit. Instead
Go
of a
ahead.
clamshell, it'll slide up.
Okay,
Ooh.
that works
And
for me
it'll
too.
be
I'm fine
the
with that.
Nintendo Switch up.
The up switch.
The switch up.
Oh, okay. I do like that.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
fine
you
with
just
that.
take it and you just go bloop, and now you got a screen up here, screen down here.
You're talking about like those cell phones where like
Yeah,
when
like
they had a
those cell
keyboard.
phones.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
Getting retro.
I'm probably more in favor of that now that you've suggested it. But the whole point I'm making is that it is primarily a one-screen system, like when it's docked and everything. But the accessible feature of a second screen exists. Now,
Yeah,
I don't think we'll get Street Pass. What I do think could be a possibility again is download play from the DS, where like only one person needs the game, but then everyone else can connect and do multiplayer
Okay.
for something like Mario Kart or like Mario
yeah, I
64
forgot
DS
about
had
that,
stuff like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I think we'll get that back, but I the only reason I could see Nintendo really leaning into the more handheld side of it is that they start focusing more on, like Amanda said, like something like a Nintendo Go type of thing. Otherwise, if it's not gonna be, if they're not gonna really lean into the handheld side, then there's not much of a reason to have Street Pass on it, because 3DS and whatnot was exclusively handheld.
Yeah.
But if this is supposed to also dominantly, bye Amanda.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, did I hurt her feelings? She was like,
I
"No
think
Street
you
Pass,
might
I can't
have.
take
Oh
it."
no.
I'm sorry.
Oh no.
I'm
too
assuming it
much
was just a
Street Pass.
power outage and that I didn't actually hurt anyone's feelings, but
No, I think you're good, but
but if it's supposed to still be a hybrid, then the handheld portion of it is more of a convenience than
Yoshi split.
yeah. So I think download play could exist, but I don't think we're gonna get Street Pass or Nintendo Go, Pokemon Go accessibility.
I'm sorry,
Never thought
everyone.
you'd move back and forth like this.
I'm sorry. It's been arranged in a way where your Schiller is just shoulders,
Now I'm dual screen.
shoulders, but
Oh.
no head. I promise I'm
Your
listening,
Schiller
but I'm
is
trying
the
to fix
Switch
this.
2 right now.
I wish I could like stick my hand out one side and it just comes back in through the other side.
I don't know.
Oh jeez.
I'm trying to figure out what happened with Amanda, but
Yeah,
now
she
I've
completely
seen
offline.
that I see now that the other person I tried to get into this is now potentially
Yeah, it's now
available.
here.
Alec is here.
All right, Alec, put on your best Kirby shirt.
Get on in here.
And get your side-on pillow, and we'll be good to go. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Welcome back.
Hi, Amanda. Sorry, I said no Street Pass, and then you left.
Crap out on me or something.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, all I basically said was I don't think Nintendo's going to lean in too hard onto the handheld part of it. I think handheld is more of a convenience. So we probably, unless they are really going to do like Nintendo Go and like really focus on the handheld part, I don't think we'll get Street Pass, but at most we'll get download play. That's where my head's at.
The only thing I care about, bring back the themes from the 3DS.
Yeah,
I want to
I'll
make
take
my
that.
Switch or whatever. I want it to look cute. All right. Right now we got boring, black and
Oh
white.
my goodness.
I want something cool.
You want red.
Pokemon Black and White
Yeah.
confirmed. Got it.
There we go. That's perfect.
Oh
No,
my
but
gosh.
yeah, I just want a little bit more. I guess customization would be fun. A little
Mm.
bit.
It'd be neat if like you could take screenshots and like make that your
Oh
background.
yeah, little backgrounds.
It went so ridiculously
Well-
hard with the 3DS because like you had
There was, like,
the
noises and
themes,
everything.
the noises. You
Yeah.
could do
The
the
badge
badge
arcade.
arcade, and you can like
Yeah.
set up little scenes with
Mhm.
pixels and icons. There's no other console that lets me put the main character for Persona 3 Portable up on the top
Yeah.
screen. And you hear all the sound effects from like Persona 3 and 4, and it sounds so weird because it's coming out of a 3DS, but it's awesome that way. I really hope they do something like that because
Speaking of
unfortunately,
black and white.
oh
you can't even see
snap,
it, the X is there. I got all the black and white stuff on there. Either way.
yeah, the Nintendo kind of shot themselves in the foot with putting a whole entire menu dedicated to light theme and dark theme, which
Yeah,
got
what
people
is that
wondering
all
like, what
about?
does that mean? I'm trying to do something about this to explain it in the future on a thing, but it's supposed to be light mode and dark mode, and that's it. It wasn't by putting the word theme there, people got all
Yeah.
these expectations of, and they're like, oh, they're gonna add more, right? Also because it's like a huge blank space in there as well. But it was just meant to be light mode, dark mode, and they never had any intention to add any kind of themes like years and years later. So I hope they do adjust that for the next console at some point. But yeah, you were talking about like I really actually like the idea of a screen that kind of slides up. So like if you're playing a game that has two screens like 3DS or DS or any like original titles they want to do for the console, just slide it up and then that's it. And if you're not doing that, just slide it back down and then there's your core switcheroo experience right
yeah.
there. So that seems like the most elegant way to do that sort of idea. And then whatever they want to do with the Joy-Con, just try to make this
Yeah.
compatible with as many things as possible. But yeah, that seems like something that we definitely would be in store for, because the idea of a clamshell, like would it just be like the DS Omega, Yoshiller, if it was
That's
like
just a
a
big
That is
clamshell?
where my head was at, but now that Glowl has suggested the idea of it sliding up,
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
love
that
the
makes a
idea
lot
of
more
like a
sense.
slidey screen.
Like I wonder how
That-
how thick it would be. It definitely would probably
Yeah, that's
be
my only worry. I'm not sure.
more than
Steve,
this.
that's why Glowl is here, though, is because the engineers come in with the idea, and all you
I've
need
got
is
a
the
lot
one
of
person to
great
be like,
ideas, but
"Well, why don't we
sometimes-
just do it like this?" And you go, "Oh, yeah, see, I didn't have that. That was not the direction I was going in, but we can do that. Yeah, absolutely."
I'll
So
send
if it is
Nintendo
gonna
an
slide
invoice,
up, Yeah, you bring up a good point. Like, if both screens are going to have the same thickness, then yeah, it would be a thicker console.
yeah.
Which I suppose is fine because the Switch itself is already a little flimsy. Because the alternative option is the opposite. Is now one screen is even thinner, so that when both screens are aligned together, you have the same width as the Switch. I think the former is more likely, that you just have two screens that are the same width as the Switch, and it's just bulkier now. I don't know, if you
Man.
take the Joy-Cons off, it's like a little flimsy.
It's just a silly
Does it-
little biscuit when you take the Joy-Cons
Doesn't it
off.
feel fragile? I don't know.
It does. It has a good weight to it still. Like it feels like it's definitely not going to just shatter if I
Hmm.
drop it a couple of times, which I never would. Although the Nintendo consoles are known to just survive for like the entire apocalypse.
That's their
But-
top priority. Which is why I suggested the clamshell design. That's why that existed, so that you could drop your DS and that thing will still function for thousands of
Talking
years.
about it being flimsy, you know how sometimes I've never done it, but people have dropped it and like the Joy-Con part of it will like break off. If they are magnetic, that would solve
That
that
resolve
problem
that,
a
yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because I broke one of my Joy-Cons. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know
Aw.
how, but like the little like things sticking out
Yeah.
here, one
Oh,
of
the
it
rail?
just like popped out somehow. I just don't know what I did. I must have dropped it or
gosh.
something.
And
Didn't realize
would
it.
magnetic be too weak to hold on to it, you think? Because then if you're holding it, I feel like any little bit of weight shift could maybe pop it out.
Yeah.
There's got to be like something else that kind of locks it into place. Like the magnet will stick it together, but there might be some other like latch that like
Yeah.
like confirms that it's in there. Like the behind of the Joy-Con has this button to actually release it. You can't release it
Well,
unless
maybe
you push
if
that
it's
down.
like
That's
an
true.
empty spot there and it's like goes into a little slot and there's 2 little holes you just kind of poke it through.
Maybe.
Velcro.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there we
that'll
go.
do it.
The
Solved it.
switcheroo Velcro edition.
Velcro.
Velcro edition.
Stick it to your wall. You're good.
Yeah,
Stick it
the-
to your backpack.
The magnet idea always got me very interested as far as like how could they accomplish this, and it just kind of sets off red flags in my head because I've always grown up knowing you shouldn't put magnets near electronics. So I'm just like, what sets us apart? Then again, we have like cell phones that you can stick the magnet
That's
behind
true.
in your car, so that's pretty much an advancement in technology that we've gone beyond. So I don't know. There's so many
Magnetic
things
would be funny because you'd be waiting in line at like Disneyland or something. You could just stick your Switch to a wall and be like, "All right, let's play together."
all the shenanigans people would do with magnetic Joy-Con, I imagine.
If I strap my Joy-Cons to a roller coaster, will it provide the precise motion inputs to beat this Mario level?
I can see the YouTube videos now.
People
Yeah.
testing how putting
I'm just
the
imagining keeping your Joy-Cons like on your refrigerator.
Yeah.
you just stick them on the fridge.
Gives it to put up like an art project.
Videos of
I mean,
people.
I like the idea of like wearing it like a Fitbit. Like you just like latch it
Slap
off.
it
Like,
on
all right, I
there.
got it. I'm ready to go.
Oh man, you could be like those cool duelists in Yu-Gi-Oh. They have the thing
Oh,
it
the
just
dual
kind of
disc?
just
Dual
comes
discs.
out and you just pull it
Yeah.
right out and there it is, or it's in your pocket and you just yank it out.
It's like draw out your Joy-Con. Like, all right, let's play some Smash Brothers.
You're that edgy guy that has your magnetic belt buckle, and so your Joy-Con are just they're horizontally, and you just like. Whoosh.
You know
Okay,
what?
I love that
Forget what
idea.
I suggested earlier with like showcasing the
into
trailer
this.
for this presentation of a guy bumping into another person. That's really how you do it. Is a guy just like pulls out his Joy-Con dual disc and goes, "All right, we're playing Mario Kart." Tosses the magnetic Joy-Con to a guy. They stick their Switch onto a wall and they just they just play Mario Kart together.
The era of magnets is upon us.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Benji Bear Pup saying the Joy Disc.
The dual disc. There you go.
Let's duel. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's I'm wondering if there's any other like peripherals or ideas or like funky, quirky little things that you think Nintendo might do with this next console.
The Switch 2 is just a smartphone.
It's just the new smart.
I
Just
think
a
we're gonna
phone.
definitely have some kind of like smartphone app, maybe like a walking app thing, so that it kind of like a pedometer, but like it counts your steps and you get points for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's me leaning into the 3DS having the 3DS had the exact same thing. It's just a pedometer. Then you earn those coins, and then you can buy little
Yeah.
fortune
Yeah.
cookies in Animal
That's
Crossing. and
right.
earn
I'd
those
forgotten
things.
all about that. Oh my gosh, how did I forget that?
Dang,
Yeah, I could
3DS
see
was
them
so
doing something
good.
like that, but with the smartphone this time, and then it like transfers to your Switch, and then like the Switch could have it too. So that way, it's like even when you don't have your Switch, you can still make it count.
Right.
Yeah,
Unless they want to build that into the Joy-Con or something, and you walk around with that.
You
But I
walk
think
around
the-
with it on your belt buckle.
Yeah, but I think the idea of having it in an app works better if Nintendo really wants to go back to the fitness like lifestyle route that they have with the Wii.
Yeah, man. As Austin was saying there, the 3DS was such a cool device looking back on it in retrospect
There's so much cool
because
stuff on there.
all the things that we can do, like we're still thinking about stuff it did. Like it had Spot Pass, we had the functionality of Street Pass, just walking with the in-game pedometer. I earned so many coins because I was in college at the time. I would go every day. I'd get maybe on average like 8 or so Street Passes and come back home and just play those. And it was amazing way back
Yeah, and
then.
download play, man. Download play was huge. Mario
Download
Kart
play.
7, like you'd host tournaments at PAX and only one person really needed the game. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
That was crazy. So I hope that the switcheroo, I guess we've called it unironically throughout this stream. I
Mhm.
hope this console actually borrows some ideas from previous consoles as well, or handhelds, to try and adapt that to make some Super Switch. I know some people want to call it a Super Switch, but yeah, I think one other feature that I'm wondering about, and maybe we could just end it on this one before we do any final thoughts. What do we think is going to happen to the future of the NFC and Amiibo? Is this it?
Ooh.
Is the Switch the end of Amiibo? Is there going to be like
No.
just a legacy? Oh, if you have like your Pro controller, you can still do backwards compatibility functionality, or are we just done with Amiibo going into the switcheroo?
I think that's still going to be in play. I think Nintendo did miss the mark with what Amiibo could be used for, but that's a whole other
Yeah.
conversation. But no, I think it'll still just like be there because Joy-Cons will probably still be compatible if it can play Switch games. So the Joy-Cons have Amiibo support in them, so or NFC in them. So I don't see a huge reason to remove it unless they have to pay like a royalty to some company to have it in their controllers. But even then, I figured like Nintendo would just eat the cost on that. Yeah, we are kind of done with the Amiibo craze. Amiibo only come out every once in a while, but when they do, they're not that difficult to get anymore.
Mhm.
So I think we're gonna still see that where like randomly they're gonna like throw a dart at a board and be like, all right, that game gets Amiibo. Xenoblade Chronicles 4 won't get Amiibo. Oh, but Xenoblade Chronicles 5 will get Amiibo. Like just like that's the timeline we're gonna be in. Random games will get random Amiibo if they ever continue Smash. Some people are certain that they will. Some people are not so sure. If they continue with Smash, though, like we'll get more Amiibo. We'll get certain games that still have Amiibo, and they'll unlock a costume or
Sora.
Sora. Yeah, those are Sora, right?
One of the last Amiibo, and I can thankfully see the last Amiibo in my collection for getting all the Smash Brothers Amiibo as well.
Oh my god.
But
I think
yeah,
we'll still get some.
we'll probably get some. I mean, honestly, at this point, the novelty is just having little figures of these characters, and that's
Mhm.
kind of where the craze started. Is just that, oh my gosh, I was getting only just the characters that I liked in Smash Brothers, and then there was at one point where I got the Sonic Amiibo. No, actually, yeah, I was at the GameStop and I saw there was a selection of Amiibo there, and I got a couple, but not Sonic. And I was like, I don't need the Sonic Amiibo. So I left. I went to another store nearby. I couldn't stop thinking about that Sonic Amiibo. And so I came back, I got it. I'm just like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna commit to getting all of them now. And that commitment is finally done as of this year. So
You're like
Uh,
Homer Simpson when he goes to clown college. Like, what a stupid advertisement. Who would ever do that? And it's just all you think about for the rest of the day.
but they're just so good, because in what world would we ever get a Banjo-Kazooie anything, an official Nintendo license, anything of
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie amiibo like this? Like, this makes me so happy to see that this exists, and that's
Or
part
even
of
like Ness and Lucas, right? Like
Mhm.
official
How are we-
official Mother 3 merchandise is in America in the form of a Lucas amiibo.
Yeah, this was how we got figures of characters that we otherwise would probably never see anything of, especially under the Nintendo license. Third-party characters and just series that otherwise were never localized over here, like you mentioned. With Lucas has a figure we've never seen. Mother 3 is ever going to come out here.
One day, man. Hopefully.
Well,
But yeah, that was just my little spiel on Amiibo, because like, I don't know, that sort of thing feels like Nintendo has already done this for the Wii U, for the 3DS. You had the little like hockey puck to connect it for the old 3DS, and then it was integrated into new 3DSs. So that sort of thing, I feel like they would try to continue it at
would
to some
think
aspect.
so.
To like backwards, I mean, they'll do backwards compatibility, that kind of legacy, but as far as going into like the new generation, whatever Metroid Prime 4 becomes, if it's on the next Switch, whatever the next 3D Mario will become, like, it probably won't use that because it's been fairly minimal use. We haven't had a cool use of this since arguably like Mario Maker, honestly. So
Yeah, unless they want to do something like Woolly World again, where it's like every amiibo gets you something, or
every
okay,
costume.
hang on, this just came to me because of your Kirby shirt, Amanda. If
Okay.
Kirby Robobot comes to Switcheroo or Switch or whatever, Robobot had a feature where depending on what character you scanned, you got a specific ability. So like,
I love that idea.
Ness
my
gave you
gosh.
the Esper ability. Mario gave you the fire ability. Link gave you sword, right? If they
Mhm.
want to do that again, or if they want to do Woolly World and every amiibo gives you a unique costume, like, now we're talking. It just gets a little trickier with the third party characters like Sora. Like sometimes those characters are compatible, like Sonic, Mega Man, and Pac-Man were compatible with Woolly World, but then you get to Kirby, Planet Robobot, and they're not compatible. And then Woolly World also was not compatible with Pikachu or the Pokemon Amiibo. So you do have to like individually go through and probably get approval for every single character. And I imagine that some of those companies, like probably the Square Enix ones, are not going to budge.
Probably
So
not.
it's going to come down to like, is it worth it? If it's something like Mario Kart or Woolly World or Kirby, I think so. But for other games, probably not.
Yeah, I do love that idea.
Oh man, yeah. There's so many possibilities that we could see going into this generation. I'm glad I had some chance to chat about it with friends because I haven't really been able to outlive my speculation and thoughts about the Switch 2 and the news of everything coming out for it now until now. So thank you all. Is there anything else that we want to touch upon that we haven't talked about quite yet? Is there anything else you want to bring up as far as like Switch 2 speculation, what we could look forward to with the next generation or this year's June Direct? Anything at all?
Do
I
we
got
think
two.
1080p?
All right, so when do we think Switch 2 Switcheroo is going to happen? My guess is going to be Christmas holiday season 2025.
I think it'll come out in like March or April of 2025, or it'll come out like not at the end of the year, but just like closer to the beginning, if not the middle of the year. So that way they could have the holiday games come
Oh,
out.
good point.
There you
Holiday
go.
season.
Yeah, they did that really well with the 3DS because like it came out in like the spring and then like it went down in price in the summer and then
Right. And then Mario
when,
Kart 7
like,
and
holiday
3D
came
Land came
Oh,
out.
and then all of
man.
a sudden like all the good stuff was there.
They had to force that price down for consumers, and that's where the ambassador program took place.
So really funny story about the price going down. I remember the price going down specifically because it was on my wedding day. And I got an email about it. It was like, the 3DS is on sale. And texting some of my friends, I was like, I realize I'm about to get married in just like a few hours and I know you're on your way, but I just want you to know that the 3DS is on sale.
Yeah. If you want to get me a really good wedding gift.
By the way.
3DS.
Oh my god. That's more exciting than the story I had for the 3DS.
But I'm sure yours is still good.
It could get me. Well, that's not, I'm not going to get arrested now. It's fine. Nintendo's can't get me. The price drop happened, and everyone that had the Nintendo 3DS before the price drop, they'd be inducted into the ambassador program. They would get those 10 Game Boy Advance games, those 10 NES games. And so I didn't have a 3DS yet because I didn't have the money for it. So the Target that I went to was selling it at the discounted price a day early. I realized, and so. Not only did I get it for a discounted price, I also was in the ambassador program and I got all those titles without having to pay the full price that everybody else did. So thanks Target and employee Jose. I still remember your name for giving me this gift. That was hilarious. But yeah, that's I don't know if that beats like testing your friends in your wedding dress. Like, by the way, 3DS is going on sale.
I don't know. I think getting the cheaper version of it and still getting an ambassador program is pretty cool.
Pretty good.
I still didn't end up getting it until like that Christmas anyways. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah, for like the release date of the next console, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they went the same route as they did with the Switch, where they'll announce it in the fall with a proper like, they'll have a video, they'll do presentations and all that, tell you what games are coming up to look forward to. And then it releases like sometime in the early spring or like in March as it was for the original Switch. Like that worked for them before. And
yeah,
that's the only thing is like they have to have a really good winter lineup this year, or at least something to look forward to that's going to sell consoles, because this is the last push. This is the swan song probably, because the next holiday season will most definitely be around the switcheroo. So at least that's my prediction for the timing.
Makes sense.
Regarding the June Direct, there are two things that I want to see that I think are highly probable. Splatoon 3 is still getting updates, so I think in that Direct, they're going to announce the final Splatfest, and probably what will be the final season, like the final set of updates for the game, I think will be in the June Direct.
Mm-hmm.
and then I think we'll get an update on upcoming NSO games, specifically for N64 and Game Boy Advance. Because when they last did that back in like the September Direct, I guess in 2022, that what they announced there lasted the entirety of like 2023. So now we've exhausted that. So there's still a few select few games that could still come out, namely Pokemon games for the Game Boy Advance, but we'll see if they're gonna do that. But for N64, like they'll probably finally give us Smash 64 or Donkey Kong 64 or maybe even Banjo-Tooie, right? Like I think we'll get an update on those. I think we'll get the Final Fest, and then yeah, we'll get Switch Party or something like that.
Double Dash.
Double Dash specifically.
Give me
I
that.
want Double Dash.
Give me that 16
After
player.
you did the booster course pass, now you're just gonna like up and drop a Double Dash.
Give me Double
Yeah.
Dash, baby.
Give us that 16 player double dash that we couldn't do with LAN because nobody had the
Yeah.
hardware to do so. That'd be
I
incredible.
bought it. I bought that with the hopes of one day setting that up at PAX and just never did it.
Man, it's hard. You gotta like really plan that out.
You got to find people that are interested. That's part 2.
We'll go through one more question here because I'm seeing this in chat coming up multiple times. What do you think they'll do? What do you think specifically that they'll do with NSO? Like, are they going to do a general soft rebrand to reflect that it's not going to be tied to any one console, or is it just going to be still NSO? If you have a Nintendo Switch account, it's going to carry on to the next console as well. When we're going to continue to get drip fed a couple titles per month.
I think it'll be that. I think it'll just carry over to the Switch
Mhm.
Aru.
I'd like to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would remove that. Like a lot of the stuff that we have right now, the legacy content that's going to be legacy content of the Switch. Like the appeal is the idea that yeah, it's going to carry on to whatever we do next. And with President Furukawa saying, yeah, the successor to the Nintendo Switch, like they're not saying, you know, what's the next console or something. They're specifically putting Switch in the title right there. So it'd be hard to imagine that they would do anything different as far as now. I would hope not. Like Nintendo loves to
I would hope
innovate
not.
and change, so we can never really like be completely certain of what they're planning for the future. But that, and then they're also mentioning like the Switch Online Companion app. Like that'll pretty much be like I could see them redesigning it a little bit to more faithfully, to more accurately integrate more games to it, because there's literally like just 3 or so titles on there that it supports.
Oop.
So, we lost Amanda again.
Back
Okay, I'll
to
go back to
Yoshiller
being a
split.
clam.
Oh no. Well, once Amanda comes back, we'll do our outro and we'll wrap up for y'all. But
I'll just say this real quickly. I think NSO stuff will carry over because, you know, prior to the Switch, we didn't have a paid online service from Nintendo.
I don't
So,
keep happening. We've had bad weather, so that probably has something to do with my internet being weird.
hi, Amanda.
we've had the same thing happen to us here. We've had like slight power outages that just blip on and off, and I'm glad it hasn't
we're
happened
under
now.
a tornado watch all day, so
Oh,
my
fun
gosh.
stuff.
Oh no.
glad you could join us. I was just saying, I think it will carry over. We haven't had a game console before where this type of scenario could happen. Like we had Wii to Wii U, but we didn't have a paid online subscription service. Nintendo would probably want anyone who's still paying for Switch Online to keep paying for it. And I feel like the
Yeah.
easiest way to have that stick around is if you have all the Switch Online services immediately available on the successor. So you immediately get the NES, the SNES, Genesis, N64. Like that all just carries over. And then whatever games have online, you can just keep playing them online.
Yeah, I feel like if they took it away, people would just immediately cancel their subscriptions and be
Right.
like, "Well, why am I
Yeah.
subscribed to this? Never mind. You just stole all my games from me."
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything that we had to discuss concerning the news of a Switch 2 on the horizon, the direct that's coming up for the Nintendo Switch, just coming up next month, and everything else on our docket here. So thank you, all 3 of you, for taking the time to come out here and just chat Nintendo Switch with me. It's been a while since I've been able to do so with anybody. So
Thanks for inviting us.
yeah,
thanks
no
for having
problem.
me.
We'll do this
Thanks for
again.
having us.
We'll do this again sometime soon. And before we go, let's go ahead and just get everyone shouted out and plug everything that you can. We'll start with you, Austin. Where can we find you on the internet? What do you do?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Glau. I do a lot of Pokemon stuff, slightly doing a little bit more variety here and there, but you can mainly find me doing some shiny hunting and yeah, just hanging out playing games. Right now I'm playing another Crab's Treasure, very good.
Very nice. And how about you, Amanda?
So you can find me on Zelda Universe TV on YouTube. I haven't uploaded anything in a couple of months because of fun health problems. Yay, kidneys. But I'm okay now, so that means I get to start doing
Oh,
stuff
gosh.
again.
Okay,
You can
good.
also find me on Twitch at Panda Princessa. And then if you are at MomoCon this month, I will be moderating the 35 Years of the Little Mermaid panel with Jodie Benson. And then I'm also emceeing the cosplay showcase.
Awesome. Very nice. And how about you, Yoshiller? Where can we find you on the internet?
Yes, hello humans. I am Yo Schiller. I try to post gaming videos every single day, or at least as close to that as I possibly can while working 40 hours a week. You might also see my name appear on the editors list for a lot of other YouTube channels, but I am Yo Schiller on YouTube and Rio Yo Schiller on Twitter.
Thank you all so much. I'm very happy we were able to come together and do this. And we did plan to have more people on, but we'll make sure we cycle some people in for the future because I'm sure we're going to have more discussions on Switch speculation as time goes on. So we would love to have you guys again if you're available to at future dates. But until then, everybody, this isn't going to be like a YouTube outro. We're here streaming, so we're all good. But I think let's see here. I think Zelda Gift World, our good friend, is streaming right now as well. So we're gonna go ahead and raid them. Tell them that we all say hello. Let's see here, everybody. Set that up right now. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Stay tuned to Good Vibes Gaming for a lot of news, for a lot of other discussions we're gonna have on there coming up. I recently did a video just now that went up today, designing a Switch 2 logo and animating it live on stream. I just kind of cut that down and did a
Everyone
compact
go
video for
watch
that.
it.
Yeah.
Daniel
Alright,
does such good graphic work.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Till we meet again.
See ya.
And we have sent them far, far away to the world of Zelda.